All right, everybody, here we are. We are here to talk about Valentine's Day. Ildira, the global pronunciation, I always call her Ildira if that annoys you, such as it is. All right, but seriously, she is here. She is Valentine's Day up. We have a brand new version of her. And overall, I think some people are going to be happy, and I think some people are going to be unhappy about it. So let's take a look. Taking a look at her limit burst, as you can see the AoE there, and we're just going to get in and show her limit burst animation, get that right out of the way before we show off the unit, her stats, and what her TMR can do. This is a preview, not a review, because as always this year, I am being very careful with what I say about units, or at least more careful about what I say about units, before I've had some time to really test and try them out. So we're going to go right over here, bring up our fire party so that we have all those nice fire card boosties, and here's the stats. All right, so let's talk about this brand new version of a character and whether or not she's even worth pulling. So global doesn't seem like they will be getting her anytime soon. And that might actually be a good thing. Main job, detective. Secondary job, battle axe. And last but not least, ranger. Uses ninja blades, can equip clothes, hats, and accessories. TMR. As you can see here, this is basically the ketone TMR, just upgraded. As you can see, it's HP and stats here, and how that's going to affect the build of this unit. All right. Taking a look at this, what the TMR does, only a single use per T. Single target resistance of 30 for 3 turns. Move and jump up by 1 for. It really is just a better version of Ketone's TMR, and Ketone's TMR I still use, so this is fine. This is good. If for a limited time unit, sure, why not? Don't think that there's anything really bad here. As for the other things, we can see here that we have a major source of evasion from the Santa Code, as well as Chaos Odin. So this build of her right now is much more focused on evasion than anything else. Also, the brand new Ninja Blade. Sorry Venera fans, sorry Leela fans, new Leela fans, as well as everyone else. This is not a dagger, this is a Ninja Blade, so you can't equip it on other characters. It has slash, resistance, penetration on it. As for her master ability, before we go any further, basically increase attack and decrease AP consumption. AP consumption's down by 10. Not really amazing, but sure, fine, good enough. All right. Into the unit itself and the resistances, we have charm resistance, we have don't move resistance, and we have poison resistance. As you can see, this build is very much anti-ice, which is okay, but ice wasn't really the worst matchup for her. As for her natural resistances, plus what her equipment is giving here, essentially she's very strong against slashing, magic, and piercing, with a little bit of an extra bonus against some of the damage types you see on display here that we'll talk about. But she's very weak against strike, fire strike, or ice strike. Sorry, water strike. That's the right one. Not the most common thing, but even if, I don't think that her damage resistances are really that great. And as an evading character, let's just talk about that really quickly. Fire evasion. It's not the thing that first comes to mind when building fire characters. You know, water has some kind of evadey characters, maybe. Light has obviously evadey characters. Dark has some evadey characters, but fire at this point isn't what I think of when it comes to evasion. And so in terms of the fire evasion build that they have going here, I'm not super convinced that this is going to be it. But that is what the majority of her character kind of seems to point towards, that she's supposed to be an evasion type character. Because looking at her 2 supports, first of all, she has an evasion increase by 12. Okay, that's fine. Her TMR also has evasion, and you Chaos Odin. Fine. Also acquired AP up by 40 for herself, slash evade, and missile evade on top, however. So basically, she has, from her support, not only regular evasion, but slash and missile evasion, which is fine, but mages exist. And yes, you know, Celeste is always a counter, but let's consider the fact that that time might be slightly coming to a little bit of a close as some different damage types are starting to rise on the JP side. Well, then Slash and Missile, she still might get absolutely dinged by Water Mage, and Water Mage is a real threat. Like Celeste, Summer, Elsie could just get through part of her evasion. Thankfully, though, looking at the next part, she does have one of the things that you would naturally want an evasion character to have. Not this. This is her detective or main job ability that basically is a chance to counter all damage by just damaging the enemy in turn. But because she does have Ranger, she does have Reflex. Now, Reflex, very important, very strong ability, allows you just, you know, evade all damage types. With the JP side, though, currently there are just like the new version of Leela is really punishing the light element right now by basically blocking reaction abilities such as this. So this ability is good. This ability will give her like a lock level of protection, but I don't think I think that time has kind of passed a little bit. Not a ton, but it will be concerning whether or not this new trend on JP of blocking reaction abilities will just really put the squeeze on certain units. And this unit is definitely one that could feel it. As for the other ability she's running, she is running this move +1, chance of being targeted decreased by 3. It's not a really big decrease, and I don't like it as much as Resnick's hate decrease, but it's still okay. And for a more ninja-like unit that's focusing on evasion and not getting hit, sure, this is okay. All right, now looking at what she has in Ranger, big thing, she does have Barrage. She has 100% hit chance ability, and she can inflict poison, and she does have the increase her own evasion rate for a single turn by 55 that Rangers have. All of that works really nice in synergy with her main kit. I mean, Barrage is just a big AoE that could be really nice. 100% hit chance gives you accuracy against other evasion units, and poison is, you know, a pretty nasty status effect. So for her abilities that don't have like what's it called, like casting time on them, she actually benefits really nice from having Ranger and could be a partner in Setia. As for Strider's a newer job. She has slow in it. She can increase her attack and spirit for multiple turns, break physical barriers, and decrease attack and magic. She got really the best stuff from Battle Axe and really the best stuff from Ranger. Both of those things make for her to have a very strong kit. Now, as for her main job, this ability, kind of interesting, hits all units around her for a 126 mod and absorbs 30% of the damage done. Pretty good. How often it's really going to benefit for a unit that is already hate down and possibly just doing things from range? Don't know, but it's interesting. If you're going with a close range build, this might be something you want. It's just that she has to survive damage and not die, and that could be a tricky part. As for this one, major range on this ability, decrease agility by 20% and decrease accuracy by 25. Nice, but if this is really going up, if she really is going to be an evasion character, dark and water will be her biggest issues of fighting with, and those are two groups that have really big accuracy cards. So this helps. This really helps, but it may not be enough to make a huge difference. Again, want to kind of see how she ends up being. All right, rest of her kit. Let's take a look here. So she has, where is it? It's a really weird range on this one of, it's just your basic kind of attack with a little bit higher of a mod. She does have an increase her own evasion rate for 3 turns, as well as decreased chance of being targeted. Great for a ninja. This one, I believe, it also can be cast on allies too. So you could run, maybe this is the start of a fire evasion team. Fire evasion Lord Mont. Perhaps not. All right. Her job level 25 ability, 50% chance to cause immobilize, as well as decrease single target resistance. With a 200 mod, a single target, okay, it's fine. If the basically she has, if she gets the immobilize chance, she gets a few extra effects from her attack. This is the new trend we're seeing with units, and it seems to just be continuing here. It's fine. Immobilize is a good enough one, but it's not disable and it's not stopping your enemy from hitting you. So I just feel it's really okay. Thankfully, that ability does have range. All right, next up, this ability is... yes. So this is an upgraded ability. Reduces the damage taken by 30% for 3 turns, increase agility by 25% for 9,999 turns, I'm not joking on that one, and slash resistance penetration by 30 for 9,999 turns. I wonder if that's a misprint in the data, but yeah, this ability upgraded into her EX, big agility increase for already fast unit, reduces her damage taken for 3 times, and gives her extra damage for slash. Great for 2 of her jobs, and that's all it needs to be. Just a really strong support ability. AoE that can cause blind for multiple turns. And last but not least, this ability. I think this is the one that wasn't quite entered into Wotv Calc, which is why I was a little bit confused about it. Because on Wotv Calc it shows it just only hits her. 200% mod on this, hits everything around her. 25% chance to inflict poison, increase chance by 20% for each time you've taken damage for a max of extra 40%. So that's great because Chaos Odin actually has a really big synergy with units that can potentially cause poison. So this unit getting poison support is really nice. So that's great. That's fantastic for her. And last not, her big AoE, which decreases CT by 50 for targets that get hit by it and increases CT for herself by 250. Really strong tempo limit burst that will potentially give her another turn. So let's run her with this fire. We're going to be running it in this, you know what, we'll go for the really difficult one to show off the farm map too. And this will be one of the first time that I actually get to see this unit in action, because of course it is a friend unit. But let's talk overall. I mean, honestly, debuffs, she's got a lot of debuffs. She's got some nasty status effects in there, different types of attacks, and barriers for her own survivability, as well as bonuses in her kit that are really just long-lasting. All of that stuff is great. Evasion unit, while it does look like there is a lot in her kit that supports it, that being there, I do have more than just a few about whether or not this unit, how viable this unit. One of the things that really is concerning to me is her damage output. Because, like, in terms of what she could do versus other units or other groups of units in the game, there are some really incredibly powerful damage elements right now. Like, you think about the units that are out there that are capable of dealing lots of damage. Fire has really bad vision cards right now. And it's not Fire's fault. It just turns out, though, that currently at the moment, like, so much of the fire element is locked behind limited time, which is a problem that wind shares as well. And I don't think that either of those elements are going to benefit too terribly much from the addition of this unit. So fire, like, if she was a unit that potentially supported, let's say, what would I say is like the thing also blinding a robot. Okay, I guess we stabbed its optics out. But yeah, Fire vision cards and fire damaging vision cards. Next week there would have to be a really good vision card to push me into the direction that I'm really liking a lot. As for PvP in the fire, well, water is still just very strong and could be a really nice counter if it comes to prevalence. That's great. She already has really strong counters of Astoria and Celeste, and any water magic, well, will be a problem for her. And a lot is riding just on her support skill. If her support skill can end up, not just her support skill, but giving her all that extra evasion against certain damage types, but if her reaction command gets shut down, how much does that really hurt her? How capable is she? Very clearly, these new farming missions are always going to be a little bit favored towards the brand new unit to convince people to get that new unit. But yeah, damage and vision cards are two things that I'm curious about whether or not she will be able to actually cover up. And over the next few days, I'll definitely be testing it out and trying it. I think that there's a really good base of a unit here, and I think that into the future, she could really benefit even further. She's got some nice partners in the fire element, but the fire element really needs to get just better vision cards to push it higher. There's space for fire to maneuver, but there also could be really hard counters that will really knock this unit right back down again. So my overall thoughts right now is that she is a pretty good unit from what I can see so far, but there are a few concerns of how truly good she will. So yeah, that's my thoughts currently. I would give her probably mostly for now, just a fan rating. If you really like the Ildira, you'll probably just want to get her and add her to your collection. But evasion, maybe there's something there. But yeah, thanks for watching this preview, and I'll come back with a review later this week. Talk about her. Cool. As for the Leela review, I actually did have it finished before, but there was a few issues with the recording, so I'm going to have to read that later this week. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.